What is up, and welcome to Into the Smoke, North America's best, probably Counter-Strike team at this point. Today, I am with Patrick P. Hollywood and Davis. What did we accomplish over the weekend? Anything beautiful, glory, awesome?
Just still chucking away, practicing for the glory days when we are going to form our own Counter-Strike team, and we are going to be the best NA Counter-Strike team in this region.
The bar's a little low, so I mean, it's doable. It's doable.
That makes us believe even more.
It's true.
Yeah, I put in a couple games of Counter-Strike, nowhere near as much as my man here. He was full on grinding this weekend, so I can respect that. Unfortunately, I was playing another game we're not going to mention a little bit, but I did get some Counter-Strike games in, and I'm pretty sure I lost every one, so there's that.
Well, and that game is called Marathon, and nobody's proud to play it right now, apparently, according to the internet.
Yeah, the internet's having a field day with it, as per usual.
Hey, but something they don't hate so far is we've got mo money, mo problems. Unless you're PGL, they're committed to, I think it's $6 million a year, or $6 million to players, $5 million to teams. It's going to be happening in 2 waves over 27 and 28. It's a whole lot of money. It's like $22 million total dollars. Probably net good for Counter-Strike as a whole, but what are your thoughts on this? You think this is great, or do you think Blast and ESL are about to have a tantrum and block all the events?
I think that's a given. They probably are going to have a tantrum. I'm all for it. I mean, the last PGL event that we just had recently, I really enjoyed. I have no problem with their events. It's not like they do anything wrong or necessarily different from ESL or Blast. I think it's good to have that competition between the three. I don't like it, obviously, when ESL and them try to, sway things in their favor and block them out. Obviously, I guess I am a little tad bit biased for PGL because I do like Richard Lewis, and that's like the only one he's allowed on, and he's never signed up for any of the others. Guess burned too many bridges. But, he's a historic analyst and, studier of Counter-Strike, and it's always great to have him on here. And the competition for this one, when we actually had some of the good teams come up, is just as good as ESL or Blast. So I see nothing wrong with this. I think this is a great idea for the future of Counter-Strike, and there's a lot of money up for grabs. I mean, a whole lot.
Yeah, I agree. And the biggest thing for me is that they're all LAN events. I'm excited for that. That's one thing that I think is really important. I know we talk about that a lot, is just having events in person and on LAN. So PGL, I think, is doing it the right way. And just to comment off of what you said, too, I think PGL is trying to get more established, and their events this year especially have been really, really good. And I think last year there was a couple PGL events where kind of teams skipped out on, and that's just always going to happen. You look now at the Pro League with a couple of big dogs skipping out on it. So teams are always going to miss certain events, but I think this puts PGL in the driver's seat, in my opinion, as far as going forward. So we'll see how ESL and Blast respond to it. But I think for me right now, the next coming years, PGL is kind of in the driver's seat.
Yeah, to me, it's really exciting as well because part of this announcement, one thing that we didn't see with it, which I feel like it's all too common, is no mention of betting sponsor, no mention of title sponsor, no mention of any hey, we're partnering with this group for this thing. It is purely a PGL statement. Now, that's not to say they might not have those things later on, but it seems like this is PGL trying to do things with or without support of others. I'm certain there's stuff on the backside, but it just feels like it's a very org first, team first, fan first type of experience. Not to say there's not a company trying to make money out there, but giving out $11 million a year with guaranteed team prize pool and guaranteed player prize pool, those are significant. Also, the all LAN commitment is significant, especially when you see things like right now we're at Pro League, which is partially online, and there's a lot of complaints with that.
100%. I mean, I'm down for it. Like I said, good competition within three. It keeps them all healthy. It keeps them all striving to do better. We don't need just one that dominates the rest, because that's when they get lazy. That's when you get worse events, and it's worse for the game's ecosystem as a whole.
Yeah, 100%.
Agreed.
The next thing we're going to have is, this just broke officially beforehand, but earlier in the day we had heard that JL was rumored to be returning to TL. He was showing up in their practice scrims, but HLTV and JL himself have both confirmed JL is going to be returning. He's going to be joining Team Liquid here for the next little bit. To play LAN, they need the VRS points. So hopefully they're able to get it done. Do you think this is going to be enough for TL to get over the hump and be able to make the major?
That's a hard one. I don't really think so. We'll see, though. I mean, I hope they do, because I think TL's we talked about it last week, actually. They're just like a staple organization that kind of needs to be in the game, in my opinion. Kind of like, they haven't ever had the success of like a Fnatic or a VP or a NIP, but their name is arguably bigger than all of those people in the grand scheme of esports. So I think they're a really nice name to have in competition. I don't know if JL is going to be enough, though, to get him over the line. I mean, obviously, he had a really good year on NaVi, 2 years ago now, but he didn't play hardly any last year, and he's been on the bench for a while now. So I don't know if it's enough. Hopefully it is. They have Spirit the very first game against Open Rotterdam, so I don't think that's enough to win that game at all. But I think the next event they play at, which is the Roman Imperium Cup, they could get some wins.
Yeah, I think this is just sad. On the last episode, I talked about them being an imposter, and they really shouldn't be there. And this just seems like a final move as a stand-in to help with the points, so maybe they can have their chance. But it's like, to me, right now, how Team Liquid stands is they're basically going to garner enough VRS points to get in, and then they're just going to be a stepping stone for some other team to climb the way up. Because there's so much wrong with this team. Now, JL filling in is for Nerds, I think it was. I don't think that's really going to change that much. Nerds hasn't really been performing very well. He's had some okay games, but that's been all of Team Liquid. So is this really an upgrade? I mean, yeah, maybe partially, but is that enough to get you by some of these, like 3D Max? Like, we're not even talking the big dogs here. Just Gamer Legion, even like Legacy, they're on a streak. Like, I mean, is that even enough for them? So it's kind of sad to see, but sure, they are a staple. They were there. I mean, Simple used to be on this team. I mean, this was back in their prime. So I would love to see them still continue and stay, but I mean, this is just like trying to get over that hill as much as they can.
I think it's cool because it seems that JL is coming to the calling of his friend Flashy. He says he's basically just doing this because he's my best friend and he called me and asked me to do it. That's like the most passive-aggressive way of saying, like, this is a favor. I'm here to help. I'm not sure I believe in this cause.
Yeah.
Because, again, we've seen the weirdness out of NAF. Now we've got him stepping in for Nerds. It just doesn't feel like this team is good to go. It feels like they want to blow this team up and build a new one, but if you do that, your VRS is tanked and you can't make the major. So it's like, how can you patchwork this? And JL made a comment. He said something about, like, you guys have seen me on my streams, but that's not what I've actually been like. I've been grinding. I feel good in these screams. I feel good. And, like, if you get Headshot Demon JL back, I mean, we saw with that NaVi roster that was Team of the Year in 24, like, he can hard carry games. He could carry you deep into events. He's good enough for that. Just depends on what JL, because towards the end of NaVi wasn't looking good. But the way NaVi looked today, then maybe he needs to go back over there.
At this point, I'm just questioning, like, is it really worth it trying to, because, I mean, obviously, like you said, they need the VRS to make the major. But in my opinion, missing this, if you just miss one major and you pick up a brand new team and try to, like, really formulate that team into a winning, like, a successful team, in the long run, that makes way more sense than just bringing in JL to get you to the major to then get bounced early again. It's like they haven't been a successful team at a major in quite some time. And so it's like, why not just blow this thing up, hit the reset button, try to get a successful team in there to grow together instead of just like trying to grasp for.
I mean, I agree, but I think the problem is that you're going to make $1 million in sticker sales, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like when I see 100 Thieves, it's like, they're currently just trying to game the system to try to get in to get the stickers. And I'm certain Rubet is a huge component of it. Their new little logo with the little kangaroo behind it or whatever. It's like, that's egregious in my mind. But if they can grind, do this, cheese their way backdoor in the major, you don't think that the 100 Thieves stickers are going to sell like crazy? Like, that's going to be a huge commodity, right? And it's like, that might get 100 Thieves close to 500K, maybe $1 million plus just in sticker sales. If you're Team Liquid, you know, you probably have that listed inside of your shareholder meetings when you're talking to investors of, we're going to go to 2 majors, that's $2 million. We'll for sure get on the backside. So, I mean, I don't disagree. They should do that if they want to win. But I unfortunately think they're not as interested in the prize pool as they are the sticker sales, which sucks.
Yeah.
So then there we go. It's not about winning. It's about money.
No, for sure.
That's not a great
They're
team
American
to pull
Horde,
for.
baby. You knew this.
Whoa. Well, they are, but, you know, we own them and disown them at the flip of a switch, okay? So right now, when I speak like that, they're European Horde.
Hey.
Is an American Horde, we'd never do that.
We would never do that.
I just think now, too, is like at this point, like, who's really pulling for Liquid? Who's really buying their stickers at this point? Like, yeah, they're going to get some of the pinch from sticker sales, but, like, I don't know. They're not very sought after, in my opinion. Like, the old Liquid stickers are sick when they were good. Like, Simple's on the team, the Columbus, like, 2016. Like, those are sick, but, like.
Yeah, but who wants to buy a sticker pack when the teams in it are, like, Imperial and Legacy? You want 100 Thieves, Team Liquid, and BC Game. That's what you want in that sticker pack. So, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah. We'll see if they make it.
So the better question is, we saw Ace Zone tweet this out. We have, who is the best IGL? We've got the 4 star-studded legends of the game: Apex, Kerrigan, Glaive, and Fallen. Pat, who you taking all time?
Ooh, I think this is a pretty tough choice. Man, I don't know. I mean, you got Glaive, you got the Astralis Dynasty, you got that whole era of Counter-Strike. Right now, probably still pictured as the #1 team to do it right now with Vitality closing in. Apex, obviously, he's closing in on that gap to be there. So it's like, do you give it to them just on those merits? Because, I mean, you got Kerrigan over here who is hailed by everybody as one of the best IGLs ever. So it's kind of hard to pick one of these. So you either go dynasty runs, but I think I'm gonna cut my boy Kerrigan some slack. You know, as bad as he does in the games, I think that is like his one true calling. That's what he is. That's what he does. So my hat is off to Kerrigan. I think
Grandmaster Unk.
Yes, he'd be the IGL of all time.
All right, Davis, what you got?
I'm on the same boat. I think it's Kerrigan as well. And the reason it is for me is just because he's been able to do it with so many different teams and so many different players on that team. When you look at Glaive and when you look at Apex, they can only do it with like their dynasty squads. And so taking no credit away from them, they have a dynasty, they built that. But I think it puts more points into Kerrigan's basket whenever he's able to do it with a lot of different players on a lot of different orgs. So that's why I would pick him as the greatest of all time, because he's able to overcome a lot of different challenges.
Yeah, it's tough for me because like I like Fallen a whole lot. I think Fallen's the best player of this mix for sure.
Yeah.
But it's also, you know, he's not been at IGL for that long.
Mm-hmm.
He also is still clutching rounds and playing with an op and doing crazy stuff. I'm certain he's calling, but it's like it doesn't feel like they win because of his calls. It feels like they win because of his plays, which is no disrespect. I think he's the best player of the bunch. I like Apex a whole lot, but I think he just keeps a dynasty team in line. And then Kerrigan, Grandmaster Unk, I mean, speaks for himself. He's been doing this for what feels like 2 decades at this point. But I got to go with Glaive just because that team's transition of when it built the dynasty, it built it off of plays and it built it off of utility usage. And that was something we hadn't seen at all in the game before. I think Kerrigan might be able to call a better round and he might be able to come up with a better strategy. But I think to build the dynasty, like Glaive had to be the one that was, hey, let's do these smokes. Let's do this execute. Let's play like this. And while he might not have been always the one throwing it, he might not have been always the one shooting, and he did have some insane rosters. It's insane. I mean, Kerrigan did also have Nico and a god squad and was not able to win with Nico. And then, obviously, Glaive has all the accolades. Apex has a lot of accolades, too, but I think that the current Vitality roster, player v. player, is far better than that Astralis run. I think that Astralis team was a better team.
I gotta agree with that. I like that shot. I think Glaive's a really good shot, too. I also think there's a lot of merit in what you're saying, like developing the strategy that has blossomed and continued to push Counter-Strike forward now. When you're the person that develops that and, like, you're the first mind to really put that to use, there's a lot of merit in that. So I think he's a good shot as well.
I think it's similar to what we've talked about before in VCT. It's like you look at G2. G2 is kind of what Vitality feels like in the sense of, like, this is a team of, like, absolute units who can win you around at a drop of a hat. That's not to say that Device and those guys couldn't do that. But, like, I do think that Cyber is going to go down as far better than Device. And I think if you go player for player with Rops and with Apex and all these guys, player v. player, you're going to put those down higher than higher than that old Astralis roster.
Yeah.
Even if the accolades are better or worse, which time will tell.
Yeah, no. I mean, I don't disagree. I think Glaive is one to definitely deserve it. I just got to cut Kerrigan some slack.
Yeah,
he's always catching L's. You know, he can't shoot his gun anymore. We got to give him something. At least we'll give him his brain.
Yeah,
we'll give him that.
Even though he's the coach now too, we'll see if Glaive can lead 100 Thieves to the promised land. You know, even though he's the coach,
not looking too good right now.
Yeah, it's
not looking the worst.
It's not looking the worst.
It's not looking the worst.
We'll see. So the next one we're gonna have, which, you know, speaking of Kerrigan and all of his credit and his ability to build amazing teams, has led us to this moment right here. You know, there's a debate that you can have. It's FMK. You probably know what this means. YouTube doesn't like when we say these words out loud. So instead, we're going to call this one franchise, trade, or retire. Which of these players do you want to make your franchise player? Which one of these players are you going to trade? And which one of these players are you forcing to retire right now? Kerrigan has made his choice with Brokey. Is that the same choice you would make? Are you making Brokey your franchise player, Davis?
Wow. Picking a franchise player from this bunch is actually maybe one of the more difficult things that we can do.
So who are you keeping?
I'm going to say Sun Pius as my franchise.
Okay.
And then I'm actually going to trade Brokey because I think
so he gets to stay in the league.
Yeah.
And tier 1, just not on face.
But it's ultimately trash, as Pat said a couple weeks ago, and that guy is gone.
Okay. All right. Pat, what do you got?
No, mine's exactly the same. This is fairly easy. Sun Pius, he actually has some potential. He shows it. He's actually been having some okay games here.
Yeah.
So, like, I believe in him. That's franchise for sure. Brokey, yeah, we're going to trade him away. I think his time at near the top is definitely a little bit behind him, but he's still capable of those games where he occasionally pops off and does really well.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the case for Ultimate. He is just bad.
Anytime
He
there's
needs
a big
to
game,
retire.
he's bad.
He is bad. I'm talking like guy in our premier match the other day, missing him standing.
But if you
still
look
bad.
right here, his rating is actually higher, and he plays worse teams. Because TL's kind of fighting at the bottom. At least FaZe kind of starts in the middle of the pack.
Well, he's
You know
just
what I'm saying?
farming. He's just farming bad teams.
Well, I'm saying Brokey's got worse stats, though.
I don't disagree, but Brokey
yeah.
has more potential. Like if there's somebody that like,
Yeah, his potential was 5 years ago. It's gone.
dude,
Brokey has worse stats, but he's playing better teams.
when is Ultimate at least getting 20 kills?
When does it end? He actually did the other day. I think he picked him on the under, so he clearly did it.
Whoa. I don't remember this. I don't recall.
For me,
I
though,
don't recall it either.
For me, though, I weirdly, one, because I think TL is going to be stuck in this ether of like 10th plus, I'm going to franchise Ultimate, which I understand probably condemns TL. And that is a fate I'm willing to accept because I need FaZe Clan to live on. And that's why Brokey is for sure retiring. Because we've seen it for the past 5 years. He's not gotten better. He's taken breaks. He's come back. He looks awful. Get him out of tier 1. Make him retire. That's good. Now, FaZe has the potential to live on and prosper. And then we go to Sunpice. I agree. I think he has some potential. I just don't think you're on that G2 roster. You've got to get somebody better for them to come back. I just don't think he's it. He's not something you build around.
Say that Ultimate is now in that spot. You think that's a better position than Sunpius?
No, I'm saying Ultimate can stay on Liquid, and that's fine. I'm saying if we remove Sunpius, that roster will probably get better. They'll probably get a better player for it. So G2 now has a chance. Because my thing is, if I get rid of Ultimate off of Liquid, you think they're going to pick a better player to go into that spot? That's what you honestly think. You think they're going to get an improvement there? I think G2 would.
From
Now,
what I've
FaZe,
seen, bro,
if FaZe have to get rid of Kerrigan also to get a better player in there. But
from what I've seen from Ultimate, yeah, I think they could find somebody better than that.
I just don't think
There's no way
I
you
think they
keep
could.
Ultimate on TL. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
You just
though.
want that team to stay at the bottom?
Well, I mean,
If
I had to
anything,
pick-
they need the better opera. I think G2 can be successful with Sunpius.
yeah,
That is
they got a lot of
a
consistency issues,
possibility. It is not a possibility for Team Liquid with Ultimate there.
Come on, Elish can hard carry. I thought that's what they said. And then Naf, I think he's
My
pretty
man
good too.
can
Right?
hard carry.
I thought Elish and Naf are like good.
He carries, but then they can't win still because their opera is just missing every shot he takes.
Like
Twist was able to carry that team into a bracket.
That's true.
And that's Twist. He can't do it to FaZe, though.
Yeah.
Now we're Brokey behind him.
That's what I'm saying, because Ultimate's not going to be the one, bro. He's not the
I wanna be clear,
Shiro.
I'm not saying
to
Ultimate's
leave his
advanced.
own, you know
I'm
what I'm
saying
saying?
we're sacrificing Liquid, okay? That's what I'm saying. Sacrifice
No.
Liquid so G2 and FaZe have a chance.
I think Sunpius has a great future here. I think
he's got a chance. He's just inconsistent as well. I mean, I think he can be as bad as Ultimate, but he also can be good.
Yeah.
I think they can all be as bad as one another. The thing is, I have seen a big upside from, I think Sun Papayas has probably the biggest upside. Then I think Ultimate has the next
why you
biggest
keep
upside.
calling him that?
What?
Some Papayas.
Then I think Ultimate has the next upside, but then Brokey, I think, has the least upside. His upside was 5 years ago.
Yeah, I agree there.
There's-
But
there's
that's
no
why
way.
I kept Brokey just simply because of what he's done in the past. I think he's one of those guys that he gets
a little
to
bit
retire
more.
kind of, yeah, like he retires when on his own time type of thing. Liquid or Ultimate's never done anything. Get that guy out of the league.
I think he just has a hatred for Sunpius. This is
No, I don't.
we've talked about this a little bit on the side. You can't even say his name right. That's how much you hate him.
No,
It's
I
like the
think he's
thing
fine.
where you constantly intentionally say somebody's name wrong to disrespect
to
them.
tilt him a little
Yeah, just to disrespect.
Could be.
And I think that's what it is. 'Cause Ultimate is trash.
All I know is
He's not
He's
great.
trash.
who was it the other day that G2 was playing somebody and Sun Pius had like 25 kills in like 10 rounds.
Dude, not
It
that
was insane.
we're gamblers here, but some Pius has been hitting his overs on kills for like all of his matches. So, and his is at like
Hey,
33.
And what
so,
about the best
just
player on
saying.
your team, Heavy God? He's always top fragging, right?
You know, you bet the unders on him. You bet the under. Don't take gambling advice from. No, this is not advice.
Yeah, 100%. The next thing we wanted to cover, though, is going to be Fallen has fallen. Now, as of this moment, they technically haven't fallen all of the way down, but man, does it not look good. And on top of that, Fallen isn't going to be in the finals or in the bracket stage for them. But I thought this stat you see on screen here was actually pretty intuitive. It's talking about how when they have 5v4s, they basically can't convert 5v4s at near the level of a team to their caliber. They're considered to be a top 5 team. And when you're barely completing around 60% of your 5v4s, like that is, for lack of a better term, unacceptable in the tier 1. Do you think that we're starting to see the chinks in the armor of Furia and that they're no longer like that locked in top 3 team? I know that Pat is looking at me with, I never said they were top 3 eyes. So Davis, I'm going to let you start.
I think it's basically the story of what this tweet says in the second half. Maladoy did not play good this event at all, and we've talked about that a lot. When Maladoy doesn't play good, this team doesn't look very good. And the games that they've lost are very surprising to me, losing to B8 and 3D Max. 3D Max has looked a little bit better with their new pickup, but still, like, these are 2 teams that Furia should beat no problem. And it seems like every event recently, they've had super shaky games against teams that they should beat. So I agree. I think they've fallen a little bit, and it's something within the strats, or maybe Maladoy is just not pulling his weight like he was at the end of last year when he was really red hot, but something's going on.
Look. This is Furia, guys. Okay,
welcome.
This is their MO right here. Okay, now I did always put Furia up there in terms of rankings. Like, I'm pretty sure I had them as number 2 because, like, as bad as they are, they can somewhat be a dominating force. But it does ride off of, unfortunately, Maladoy. And you know, he's coming off his rookie season. He gets Rookie of the Year. He gets like number 6 HLTV. He's coming off this high. But ever since we go into that major and then up to now, it's the pressure must have gotten to him because he just cannot perform anymore. And I thought online would be maybe where he would excel a lot more because, you know, the pressure is kind of not there as much. You know, you're in the comfort of your studio or house or wherever they do their playing at. But he just, unfortunately, I don't know if he gets in his head, and you're relying on what you talked about earlier with the IGLs of falling to make these plays to pretty much catch them out. I mean, we have like a handful of times where he is, you know, took the round in his own hands to secure them around, to either swing the economy or to get them those final couple rounds. And it's like that's supposed to be like Maladoy's job as the operator. He's supposed to be the swing person who swings it in your favor. And as you look from the stats, he's clearly not doing that right now. And he's not the only one, not to just hog just on Maladoy. It's not just him. But the Opper is that class on your team that you look to really swing it into your favor. I mean, and he's been unable to do that.
It's an OP gun. I mean, that's why we were just talking about Ultimate, Sampaio, and Brokey, and like how they are and are not performing. But I mean, I think that we looked at through the wrong lens at the end of last year. To your point, you're talking about all of those moments. At the epicenter of all of those moments is really Fallen. It was not, I mean, Maladoy was there for those moments. And sure, Fallen with the double op, gave Maladoy the op, let him rip it, blah, 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 right? It's like, but a lot of those are crazy Fallen plays. Like right now, Davis is doing a little behind the scenes look at how great the Falcons are and why they're absolutely not an inconsistent team. And in that, you showed a play, or you're looking through a play that has Fallen absolutely coming from the depths, winning an unwinnable round, and securing Fury an improbable win over the Falcons. But it's Fallen. It's always Fallen. It's always somehow comes to him doing some magic. And I think, one, knowing that he's not going to be in the bracket, this team's playing for sure a little flat. They look a lot not like themselves. But then also, it's like last year we gave Maladoy the HLTV number 6 Player of the Year award. Has he looked like the number 6 best player in the world?
No. He did at the end of last year.
He did for a couple weeks, maybe months at the end of last year. But even for all of last year, he didn't look like that. And yeah, he had a little bit of a burner. But like Heavy Gods had a little bit of a burner. There's a lot of players that have been in on a couple tournament burner. And it's like it just feels like this might be what we should expect. And if this is what we should expect, there's no chance Fury are a top 3 team. They're a top 8 team, and they're capable of winning if they get hot. But they're not consistent enough for that. I mean, they almost got 0-3 here. They went 0-2 down. That's insane.
Yeah, I do agree with that statement, too. I think Maladoy is one of those guys where when things are going well for the team, he tends to excel. And, like, in the early stages of rounds, he really excels and he can get multi-kills. But he's not the most clutch guy on the team. And when things are kind of down for the team, he's not going to be the guy that kind of pulls you back. It is always Fallen that kind of gets the guys back together, makes an unwinnable play look winnable, and then he just turns the game around for them. So I think that's what they're struggling with right now. They're not kind of riding the high like they were anymore. So Maladoy isn't producing as many crazy kills and multi-kills, and they're kind of trying to figure out how they can get back on their feet.
The concerning thing to me is not just this tweet, but it's, you know, Fallen has been saying for the past 18 months or so, not that he's about to retire, but kind of that he's looking forward to retirement and that it's closer than it is far. And it's like he might retire after any major at this moment. And if he retires, this team is pretty checked.
Yeah.
Because he is the backbone. He is the survivability. He is the clutch factor. I mean, to me, the next best player on the team that's consistent is Quesarado. And I think he does a great job, but he's nothing compared to Fallen in the regards of clutchness.
Yeah.
And then I don't know that Fallen is the best IGL in terms of playmaking, but in terms of closing, in terms of like actually securing you rounds, like there's going to be no replacement that's as good as him.
Yeah, 100%. I would say gun skill wise, he's top 2. I think him and Blitz are like the top 2 IGLs as far as their ability with the rifle. Yep. But Fallen's way more clutch than Blitz, and he's been in the big time moments. He can, when you're on the major stage, for example, and like you need a big time play, you know Fallen can pull that off. Versus there's not many IGLs that you really trust to do that on any team.
Totally. Yep. So let's shift gears and move over to what is currently happening. So currently we are in IEM ESL, hold the acronym, Season Pro League 23. Okay. We are almost of the way through stage 2. Since then, we've had a lot of games played. But first off, we have to talk about Pat's most beloved team and Davis's most beloved team. Pat's beloved Mouse have managed to go 3-0 in the stage, looking like one of the dominant teams.
Mm-hmm.
Davis's beloved team Spirit also 3-0 moving on. Mm-hmm. We are poised to maybe have the first set of 1 seeds meet in the final. Mm-hmm. Could be a Mouse v Spirit final. Now, are we saying, Pat, you can take the ball here, but are we saying that the winner of this is for sure top 3? Because the inconsistencies of Falcons, we know. Furia, they are what they are. And then maybe Parivision are up there. So the winner of this, now we're going to unanimously say this is a top 3 team, either Mouse or Spirit, whoever takes it.
I don't know. That's kind of tough. That's kind of hard to say because since Vitality and the Falcons aren't here, Furia might possibly not even be in this playoff bracket. I mean, it's pretty much just handing one of them a free win.
Yeah, but I'm saying they have to beat each other, though. And then
maybe you think Mouse is going to make it to the finals? They're certified 3rd, 4th.
Also, if the number 5 team beats the number 4 team or the number 6 beats the number 4 team, how does that make you top 3?
Well, so we're saying you think Furia is still ahead of both of these teams.
Yes.
Yes, I would still give that to them.
That's crazy.
I think Spirit is
crazy.
It can't be that crazy. Spirit is having a good little showing here. It's not been perfect. Yeah, I mean, Donk had the 0.58 on the Mirage, so it's not been perfect. But this is online, so it has that variability. But this was the tournament we wanted Spirit to come in and win. So realistically. Yeah, but sure, right? Mouse,
they don't really win.
They're going to be there. But this is Donk and crew we're talking about here. Yeah. These changes, Magix has
boot
the IGL,
camp.
boot camp. Yeah. This is theirs to win.
Yeah.
They don't have a Vitality to stop them. Okay, they don't have a Falcons to stop them.
Or Parivision. Okay? They got bounced.
Yeah, or the Parivision. Like, this is their moment to win. And if they don't win, I might just boot them out the top 5.
Dude, I'm going to be honest. When the B8 was on a burner, I want to be very clear. B8 has looked really good. I'll talk about them in a little bit later. But after beating Furia, dude, that first map versus Spirit, I was like, dude, in our chat on Discord, which you should totally join, by the way. Pat's probably just fiending to plug this thing. But, dude, I was like looking at the channel waiting to see Donk who? Donk what? What is this? Because I was like, dude, he looks awful right now. Maybe they were, I don't know, having internet issues or just mentally checked, or I'm not sure, but it was not. It looked like we were playing.
Yeah. That's another reason, too, that I'm not really. I mean, I think both teams won really good 2-0 games, and they beat Mongols and they beat G2. I think those are good games, but, I mean, both teams beat kind of teams that you expect them to kind of stomp, and both of them had close games. Like, I think Mouse's close one was against Astralis, and then Spirit's close one was against B8. So I think it's good that they went 3-0. It's kind of expected, so.
For me personally, this is whoever wins this, whether the other doesn't make it there or not, but whoever wins this for me takes that 3 spot. I think Fury is still 2nd or 3rd. If they didn't get 0-2, so I'm not going to quite kick them out of top 3, but 0-3.
So if Mouse win this event, they're your top 3.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Heck yeah. I mean,
they can win something, right? Because I think in the current capacity, Mouse have the meme of they can't win anything. In the current capacity, Spirit have not won in like 6 months. You've not won with Magix. You've looked inconsistent. If you do this boot camp, come out of it, look flat, and just get 2-0'd by Mouse in a final or 3-0'd by Mouse in a final, like, Oh, it doesn't feel good.
This event feels to me though just like last year when Mouse won the Cluj-Napoca event.
Sure.
When it was like we all consider that kind of a Mickey Mouse event. That's kind of what this event seems like
Sure.
to me now. Same way.
Nah, yeah, I don't disagree because I think Cluj-Napoca was literally, I think it was just Mouse and Falcons.
Yeah, it was.
And this feels like just, I mean, technically Furia was here and Parivision were here, but seemingly now
They're not anymore. Yeah. Furia probably will be there.
But they won't have Fallen in the land piece. So, I mean, it is what it is. But at least in an ideal world, we will get to see a hopefully good Mouse v Spirit final. And I do think that whoever wins that, you have to give the edge to in their ranking.
Yeah.
And I think that because of Falcon's inconsistency, Furia's sketchiness, and Parivision's sketchiness, I think it's got to be some combination of the winner of this and Furia probably in my top 3. Vitality or miles ahead. Not even in the race.
Yeah, you know, I'm gonna give Mouse the edge over Spirit right now. I think Mouse have been having Spinks has been on fire.
Yes, he's been running it.
He has been absolutely frying.
Donk.
Yeah, he's been frying. Their whole team's look good. Torzy's had some really nice plays with the ops. Like, sure, his stats probably haven't been the best, but like he's had some incredible plays. The whole team looks solid. I mean, you know, the rest of those guys are still there. You know, Roland's doing this thing.
Dude, he's actually
Jimmy's
good
just
in a couple
there with his hair. Like they're there. They're playing the game. Okay, but like they're looking pretty good.
Sure.
As Spirit, on the other hand, I mean, we've had Shiro's been doing pretty good.
He's been inconsistent, so that's.
But he's had some pretty dominating ones there. Zontic's had a really good game, and Donk's been being Donk except for that one time. But I think when we get to LAN, I think it might crumble a little bit for them. I do see them being in the finals, but I think Mouse takes it over them in the end.
Sure. I just hope it's a good series. I want them both to get to the finals. I actually want to see both 3-0 teams actually make a run and actually look good into the finals. Because right now, if they lose, who are they going to lose to? You're going to lose to the Mongols. Yeah. You're going to lose to a G2 and NaVi.
Yeah.
Like, that's most probably who's going to get you, which it could happen. I mean, this feels very, I mean, Blast London, I mean, G2 was able to make a run and take down Vitality in the end.
Yeah.
If G2 go on a run and take down Spirit to the end, I mean, wouldn't be
not
surprised.
the most unexpected thing.
Oh, buddy, Navi's not even there yet.
Yeah.
G2's not even there yet.
So let's chill. They might not make it.
100%. So speaking of those two, let's shift gears. We've seen good games out of G2, and we've seen good games out of NaVi. We've also seen bad ones. But it does feel like a little bit of a renaissance. This feels like last year, again, Blast London, whenever G2 was able to go on a run. Maybe it's a little bit better of a talent pool than NaVi's win last year.
Yeah.
But this feels like a tournament that those teams are capable of winning. Do you have any confidence on either of those teams to make a run? And if so, like, which one of those two are you picking?
I would say NaVi. I'm a little bit more leaning to, in my opinion. I think they're honestly neck and neck, though, about the same. We saw them play a couple weeks ago. I can't remember which event it was, but it was a really close match. And NaVi won. But yeah, I think personally NaVi. Another team that I think we haven't mentioned yet is Legacy. I think Legacy's looked really, really good this event, so I think they're a good shout to go maybe make a miracle run. They won an event last year. So.
Yeah,
they did. I mean, I'm going to always throw my hat to G2. I think, you know, this online part of the tournament hasn't been the best for them, but they've had some really solid performances. I think they are capable of potentially making an upset in there, and depending on where they get placed at in the bracket, I think anything's possible with them. So I wouldn't be surprised if they possibly snuck in another victory here, and they don't even have to go through Vitality this time.
Yeah. I similarly, I would go with the G2 vibe in that area just because I've seen Heavy God take down Giants before. I think Makaze will. I just haven't seen it yet. And this might be the time where Makaze goes in there, pops off, and slays Donk or something like that. I mean, it's plausible. We didn't see it earlier, but I do think that they will inevitably do that. I think Makaze will inevitably do that. But I think G2 just got a little bit more experience. They won an actual event versus actual teams last year. So that does help too. But hopefully it's good matches.
No Aurora fans?
Aurora?
No Aurora fans here?
I think they have capability. I think they have just as much capability as those two teams, to be honest with you. But I'm not necessarily a fan of them. I don't think they're going to do it.
No, for sure. So, what?
I just said believe.
Believe in who?
G2.
Okay. I'm down for it. So the next one is we're going to go with Stuck in a Hole because we have O2s in Furia, O2s in FaZe. We've kind of touched on these a little bit. Also, Parivision's not here. Last time we were here, Parivision was still in the event. They're not anymore. Who do you think this is a worse showing for out of these squads? Like, who are you most surprised with being in the situation?
I think Parivision, personally. I think losing out in Stage 1 is the main reason. Like, those were a lot of teams that they should be beating, and especially being at 2-0 in Stage 1, like, to lose 3 straight matches is pretty crazy to not... against the teams that they're playing, which I think they lost to Legacy was the first one, and we've seen Legacies go on and do really well. But the last 2 games, like, you should win at least one of those matches to get over the line and say, okay, we had a little bit of a small, like, spell, whatever. Let's get it back on track. But you should at least back against the wall win one of those matches, not 3 losses in a row. So I think it's worse for them.
I mean, I got to give it to Furia. It's been a tough break for them. They've not been doing too hot. And I think for a team that is so highly rated at like number 2 to go down to an 0-2, I mean, it looks bad on paper for you. You're not winning over any hearts or souls with that. Like Parivision, I guess we could, they are an emerging team out at the top. But I mean, they played terrible. There's no doubts about it. The teams they lost to are teams they should, if they're going to be at this new caliber, absolutely zero reason you should lose the best of 3 of these teams. Now, obviously, they've been playing a lot of games. They're arguing fatigue and stuff and like rookies. I get it. I understand it. But yeah. But for me, it's just Furia. You're a top dog. You're a top contender in the game. And you're looking this week before we even get into the playoffs brackets. I think that just stings a little bit harder.
No, I agree. I also think to put a little context into what Davis was saying on the Furia side is like, we saw a really, really good tweet from Jane where he basically talked about, hey, we've been grinding for a long time. We're playing in a whole bunch of tournaments. In between these tournaments, we were playing a whole lot. There's probably a lot of fatigue that comes with this. We don't really have the resiliency. We don't really have a secondary leader to be able to survive. And there's a lot of reasons. I actually think this is like a very well thought of, very professional kind of response from him, but it's also valid, right? Like, this is a team that last year was on the verge of complete irrelevancy. And then in this quarter of the year, they've lunged themselves into effectively the top 5. And then with that, they're still in between these events. They're playing online for small tournaments that they had previously committed to, which props to them for not backing out of those things. They said they would have taken a break if they would have known that things would have been going as well. But this is a team that was fighting for VRS points. And the next thing you know, here you are, you're top 5 in the world living the dream. And it's like, I understand there's a lot of fatigue that's associated with that. So I think the result is bad, but I think it's more of a result of circumstance. Whereas when I look at FaZe, it is what it is. This is what we've come to expect of this team. If you told me they were in the finals, I wouldn't be as surprised as you told me they got bounced in the first stage. Like, that's just FaZe for you. But the Furia one is crazy. I expected in the bracket they would be underperformant with no Fallen. I'm curious to see what they'll look if they can make it without him. But going down 0-2 to the teams you lost to, it's not a good look. They didn't look good in those matches. They're kind of getting beat up. It kind of felt like when Parivision's games don't go well and game time isn't effective, they get kind of bullied. So it's not that odd to see them get smoked at times, even against lesser teams, just on a map or 2. But watching Furia get smoked didn't feel good. Yeah. It just felt like everyone was like lifeless and just kind of down bad. It was very odd.
I agree.
Poor Brazilians right now.
Well, Legacy's good. So you got that.
Yeah, Legacy is picking up the slack where
they are. There's always got to be one, just like 3D Max picking up the slack for Vitality's absence.
For the French, I love it.
It is what it is.
Yeah, the other one, too, to shout out is that the Furia are playing Pain to get eliminated. So it's a little bit Brazil on Brazil hate there. It's unfortunate. But, hey, you know what? Brazil for sure has a team not going 0-3.
Yep.
So good. Honestly, I wish Pain would get it over Furia, but
that'd be wild.
Our live update before the show started was not looking good.
Yeah, Furia has taken the first map, so I'm going to assume that they're probably going to end up closing that one out. But, it's all fun. Who are your shout-outs? I know you had mentioned Legacy, but who are your shout-outs from the event so far? What are the things you've liked, you've enjoyed, you've had fun with so far?
You want to go first?
Yeah, sure, I can go first. Mine's just going to be 3D Max. Okay. I'm keeping it in the borders. Keeping it in the French border. I'm not beating the allegations, all right? French for life. They've looked fantastic. Obviously, you don't have Vitality here, so they are the French team coming in, and they're a team that's always been known to be kind of explosive. They can either go out in the first stage or maybe they can make a slight run and almost make it to the brackets. But this one, for the online portion, has looked extremely well. They have the new player that's came in who's also looked extremely well.
Yep.
So this is kind of up and up for this team. I'm expecting a lot of good things. I hope maybe they can make it far. Obviously, I didn't pick them to be the ones that could potentially win, but I think it is for sure a possibility. I think land is just going to be a different beast for them. Obviously, they've played on plenty of lands, but your teams like Spirit and Mouse and Mongols are going to be probably a little bit tougher on land when you're more in that face-to-face environment. I don't know if they'll be able to quite handle that.
Hey, if
heat.
they got some of that Apex,
they've looked fantastic though so far.
if they got some of that Apex blood in them though, they might start talking some smack.
And maybe they need to get him to call up, get a little motivation, get in
bring
there to
him
help
in
him
to coach. That's what you need. Anger translator Apex.
Yeah. These teams that they're playing against, they're typically known to crumble under the pressure too, in my opinion. Like Mouths and stuff. Like, dude, get in their head, take advantage of that.
100%.
So, the team I wanted to shout out, though, was actually G2. I think they probably had what I would consider the hardest road so far. They played FaZe, they also played NaVi, and they also played Spirit. And they're 2-1 through that. They lost to Spirit. They play Aurora today. So if they can beat Aurora today, I think it'll be a really good group stage for them. And I think it'll be the hardest path that any team's had to play. We always talk about the Swiss stage. You kind of get whatever hand you get dealt, you have to deal with and play the game. So I think they were dealt a pretty hard hand. And I think they've done really well with it. I think Sun Pies has played well. I think the first series is when it was Matisse that really, really popped off. So I think they've done well with the teams that they've drawn against. So I think that's a good shout.
Yeah, you would say that the current run isn't surprising, and you're also saying that Aurora is a hard team to defeat, is what I'm gathering for the end.
Yeah, compared to a lot of teams.
I can feel Pat's inner is just not.
You know, I give Aurora more credit in these pre-stages and especially online. We saw what happens when they actually get into the quarters and stuff and play on land. They crumble and look like the worst team possible. But in these pre-stages, Swiss stage, for all that, they usually look pretty good. And Xantares has been doing really well. So I think that matchup right there is going to be a bloodbath.
Yeah. A bloodbath. Yeah, I actually want to shout out B8 because they came out, they smacked Furia, and then they pushed Spirit to borderline the limit. And then they unfortunately did get eliminated earlier today by Foot. But I think this team is like right on the verge of being a bracket-based team. Like they feel like they can go on those runs, they can compete with the big dogs, and they're really, really close to getting over that edge. But they're just not quite there yet. But I just want to shout them out because great run from them. They put a lot of hard teams. Unfortunately, it didn't pan out in the end. But
I think the start of the year they had was very underperforming for what they
100%.
like last year. They were kind of on this same crest where because like we needed to really get to this next level. And I thought they were going to be a team that didn't make any moves and kind of stayed together. They ended up making a move, and they kind of bounced around between a couple players at the start of the year. But I agree, this has been a good event. They did get eliminated, but they've shown that they can play against Spirit. That's a really good showing. Yeah,
it took NaVi to OT. I mean, lots of close games from that crew, but it's just you just got to get over that hump. And I think they're close, but more reps versus those top teams. Because if they converted the win against Furia, which is massive, but unfortunately to get out, you really need to beat probably one more team at your level and one more team above your level. Yeah. And when you pull Spirit and NaVi, it's like, bro.
Whoops.
Yeah, and then you got to beat Foot to stay alive, which is a hard game to win. Too.
And they're really good too.
And they're really good. Yeah.
Can I give another special shout out real quick?
Do it for us, Pat.
Okay, I want to give a special shout out to the American teams. What a letdown. Holy moly, what a letdown. This was supposed to be the tournament. We hyped them up. You know, this could be their moment to shine. Where are they at?
0-3, 1-3.
Where are they at?
Well, they're practicing for the next one.
Absolutely dismantled in stage one. Embarrassing. Okay? I'm still pulling for them, though.
What about TL? What about TL and FaZe, the pseudo-American clubs?
They're pseudo.
Passion UA. Where are they at?
Well,
same thing.
They got eliminated. Team Liquid obviously got eliminated also, and FaZe is they're still here for the moment.
Here for the moment, fighting for their
very
lives.
short moment.
But we're not going to include them as much. We got M80 and NRG, absolute disgraceful showing this ESL.
I will say the one M80 played G2 close. Other than that, disgraceful. They had one win too. They were 1-3, but.
Yeah, awful overall. So bracket predictions. We're going to be going into this in the current capacity. We're going to have on one side Mouse. On the other side, we're going to have Spirit. The middle of that thing is going to look probably a little bit like some G2, some Mongols, some NaVi in there, maybe a Foot, maybe an Aurora, a few of those others in the middle. Who do you think can be a dark horse, and who do you think is most probable? You said you're liking Mouse for this one.
Yeah, well, I kind of already gave away all my predictions there. I think if the finals were to be Spirit v Mouse, I think Mouse takes it. Mouse, obviously, their biggest hurdle is that semifinals match. Okay, so if they can get by that,
who do you want to have it?
If
you could, because right now we know the Mongols are there, and we also know Legacy is there. Of those two, if dream scenario, who would you want to play in the semis?
I mean, you would like to think you take the easier option, so via Legacy, you would hope that that'd be the one they could beat. But the Mongols also historically have not been able to really make it really that far. So you're basically having two teams in the semis that both can't quite make it to the finals. So that one's kind of a toss-up 50-50.
I feel like the only teams you really don't want an Aurora, you don't want a NaVi, and you don't want a G2. Because I think if
Aurora in bracket looks bad. I mean, I think
I think if they get rolling though, if Xantares gets a little hot online, I don't think Spinks can keep
this. We keep saying this about
and
Aurora.
one
If
day
Xantares does
one
this,
day it's gonna happen.
They keep giving him all these T20 awards, and where are they at, man? Where are they at?
They're fighting for their lives.
Yeah, unfortunately, they can't do good in the brackets. And my dark horse, I'm gonna just stick with G2, if we can consider them a dark horse. That obviously they have the potential to winning. They've like Davis said here, they've had one of the hardest runs there so far. So I mean, that would just be like that story run going all the way through to the end. I think it's plausible to happen, and that's my 2 cents.
What you got?
I have 2 dark horses, actually. I have Mongols, and I have G2. I think Mongols has looked really, really good recently. They played really good at Cluj-Napoca. They made it to the semifinal there, lost to Vitality. Took them to overtime in one map as well. So I think their new team is actually really getting things together. And then same as you just said with G2, I think they've looked really good. And then the only other 2 teams that I even really give a chance to is Mouse and Spirit. So one of those 4 teams,
Which Mouse and Spirit, who you take?
Probably Spirit, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm obviously, big team Russian guy here, you know what I'm saying? We're going Spirit all the way for sure. I just can't see a reality where, given the last 6 months track record where Spirit has beat them every single time, if Spinks plays the way he's playing, that's your only chance. Because we've not seen Spinks as hot since he was on Vitality.
Yeah.
And that's been a minute. And it's one of those, I think if he keeps this up, Torzy's also probably going to be a big X factor. You're going to need Torzy to probably handle well Shiro. And if that's the case, I think you got a chance versus Spirit. But my dark horse, I'm going for a 2 for as well, because I think on one end, I think NaVi have got a good chance to make a little bit of run. I know they're in that 2-2, still win and survive and move on situation. But I think with Makaze and that team, if they get hot at the right moment, I think they're more than capable of taking down a Spirit in the semis. I think they're more than capable of taking out Mouse in the semis. And the other one, I just said it. I mean, I got Aurora. At some point, they're going to make a run. They have the team with the talent to be able to make a run. They just have to do it on land. And they just, it feels, there's probably a lost cause, much like Pain. But at some point, they're going to put it together for a run. Xantares is going to light it up. Because when I think about that Mouse team, what could beat them right now? What could shut down a Spinks? A really hot Xantares can probably take down the whole team. Now, it's going to be hard for them to take down Donk, so you kind of hope you don't play them in the finals, personally.
Yeah.
But
I don't know, man. I think you're doing this out of spite. Aurora,
I'm not.
Really? You couldn't pick a Foot, maybe a Legacy?
I do think Foot and 3D Max would be like my really, like
super
deep
dark
in the shadows, really dark horse.
I don't know. I find that more logical than Aurora.
Dude, 3D Max or Foot would be crazy.
That's crazy, Kofi.
That would be like a 12 to 14.
Maybe it's crazy copium, but dude, Aurora, just when they get to that land in brackets, they never look that good, and that includes Xantares.
Hey, he won.
And
last year.
He is a very good player.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a reason why he's always put up, but he's not quite the Donk, so he can't do what Donk does, and he has a hard team to carry, just like Donk does as well.
My thing,
Except for I feel like Shiro is a better opper. I feel like
you don't want them to play. Spirit is not a good match.
Well, I'm just saying, like, in terms,
is their best shot.
Like, just in terms of like the carry to the team factor, like, he's got a lot harder time with the Aurora. Now they have their pop off moments. Don't get me wrong.
Watson can look good, and it's one of those things. Watson, in my opinion, can look good as Torzy, and Xantares can look better than anybody else in the team. And Jimmy is really inconsistent. So it's one of those, like, you tilt your head a little bit, like it's doable.
It's funny how I think, like, for me, Aurora is Walmart version of Spirit, and then we have for Mao's their Walmart version of Vitality. Yeah, they're just like the same team, just like the players are a little bit worse.
That's true.
But their makeup is the exact same. Like Xantares, go out and kill everybody. Don't go out and kill everybody.
So I guess you take Vitality over Spirit, so you take Walmart Vitality over Walmart Spirit. I can see that. That checks out.
Yeah, sure.
What do you got for us, Pat, on what you've kind of learned over the weekend, or what's your hot topic from the weekend?
Yeah, my hot topic is just online play is bad, and that's pretty much the whole juxtaposition of it is having these online tournaments here. We just talked about earlier about PGL, how all their things are going to be LAN, is because online is just so unstable. I mean, obviously, all the tech pauses we've had this tournament, this Swiss stage, because of it being online, people's connections dropping out, this, that, and the other, is just horrible. Plus, when it comes to playing online, everything's different. The way it feels, it's all different. So, like, you have teams, and that's not to discredit a team that normally doesn't perform that's performing well, but it's like there's that variable that gets thrown into online because it's such a different atmosphere. It's not the same. So, sure, maybe it allows for teams to get farther than they normally would, or maybe just the big dogs can't get as far. But it's all around just not the most fun experience. We all make fun of the Elite webcam.
Yeah.
Like, sure, it's fun to laugh and joke at, but man, does it hurt the eyes. The same with a lot of them. It's just like they do the best that they can, but we really should have this in some sort of LAN format.
It's crazy to me that, I mean, obviously Mal's are a tier 1 org. They're big dogs, and they got a cool little, like, arena type deal. It's surprising to me that other teams don't focus on the content aspect of it, especially a Liquid or a Spirit. Like, maybe Donk is really a cave gremlin in disguise, and this is, you know, the life that he likes to live. But he is in a pitch black room with his monitor light on his face and nothing else.
That's it. Yeah.
And then people are memeing that, like, when he drinks his 8.8 pH water, he doesn't look like he's drinking it. And they're like, robot must get new oil. And it's like, what are we doing? I'm just surprised that the Spirits, the Liquids, the Phases aren't in, like, content houses built for this, or at least have good setups. Like, Elige is on a webcam. It has to be from 1998. Or he is on the worst internet, which why is he on the worst internet?
Exactly.
Neither are good options. So it is a little about. There's also, I'm pretty sure, in the Phase Monty game, I think one of the teams like lost power or something like that. So the game had a elongated tech pause. The only good part about these tech pauses, though, is this 32v32 lobbies they've been opening the past couple of days. That's S tier content.
Yeah. I'm glad that you explained this, though, because at first, whenever you said online matches or cheeks, I was thinking of earlier in the show when you said, yeah, I played Counter-Strike this week, and I think I lost every game that I played. So I was like, where is he going with this? And then you were like, talking about the event. And I was like, okay.
Well, those are cheeks as well.
Yeah, both are cheeks.
Happens. But so what are your thoughts, Davis? You in for the online, or you think, like, tier 1's only IRL?
I think it theoretically should only be IRL. I know, well, I mean, we have PGL maybe putting their foot down and trying to make this a reality. So I'm happy about that. But I think the last few years, especially from COVID, a lot of tournament organizers were like, we can slide by with this. We can have online events because it's plausible. People will still watch. And I do agree that people will still watch. But I think overall, just for the competitive integrity, it makes sense that they're going to be, you know, professional esports athletes. They need to be treated like it. And you should be playing in person. You should be at least playing in a team facility. I think it doesn't look professional at all when they're playing all in different rooms, maybe in like their bedroom, something like that. It's just kind of like you said, it kind of doesn't look visually appealing. So I think it's a good move.
It's just so weird too. They got these anti-cheat things where they got to have their phone basically FaceTiming. I think it was either Foot or 3D Max. One of the two had like these poles over top of the players to have those cameras on.
I remember that.
And it was one of those things of like, the whole thing just looks weird. And I don't hate online events. I think that those are totally fine. But when I think of online events, obviously Counter-Strike effectively is two, we'll call it 5-month-long seasons. We'll call it close to a month break after the first major and a close to a month break after the next major. Other than that, these are 2 5-month-long seasons. I think during that, you should have big pillared LAN events. And in the middle, do like those old Keemstar 100K events. Do online-only events, and that would be an option where some of the pro teams are going to do it because they want to, and there's money. And then you're going to get to see a lot of AM teams. But it's online only. Make it for that. Make sure there's content standards, and like we're going to make that your webcam can't be Elige's. Like we need to be able to interview and do stuff after the matches and stuff, and like still have those elements, but like make it very purpose built. Because this one feels weird because it's stage 1 and 2 are online. Then we're going to take them to the studio in person for the end, and it just I don't know. It just feels weird.
Yeah,
especially for in a Grand Slam event.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just 8 teams. That's all we can afford to take to our little LAN event.
Hey,
with no crowd, with nothing.
Expensive.
It's like we're just cheaping out.
Hotels are expensive,
I guess.
Hey, but that new 3D projector on the topography maps to break down the plays, it's
pretty sick.
That's some primo quality right there.
I see where they're putting their time and effort.
100%. So for me, I wanted to talk about the fact that Counter-Strike, all you're doing is teasing us. You're just giving us a little bit. But sometimes we want a lot. You know what I'm saying? We want a whole lot. And what I'm asking for here is you've seen League of Legends do Clash. You've seen Rocket League do little weekend tournaments. Maybe just some best of 3 actions. Maybe some best of 5 actions. Maybe a little ladder where I can see where I'm like ranked at in a pecking order for like a small sub-season. Because we need something else in Premier. I like I like Premier. It is better for sure than ranked used to be when people would just only play Dust 2 and the queue time there was 30 seconds and any other map was 5 minutes. Far better than that. However, it just doesn't feel enough, especially when you look at other games. We're like Squidward looking down at SpongeBob and Patrick having fun, where it's like, I see League of Legends people having these cool Clash weekends. I see Rocket League having these, little tournament pop-ups. Counter-Strike, we got nothing. It's just unacceptable at this stage of the game. I know the developers are in Maui making money off the skins, not doing anything, but guys, come on now. What are we doing?
As a guy who's played Clash recently and won a Clash recently on League, Counter-Strike definitely needs this. It would be so sick.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Clash thing would be cool as well. Just some sort of little online tournament thing you could enter in for a day or a weekend or whatever. Would be pretty cool. You and your buddies can get on and do that, or you can even just look for teammates, like having a look for group thing, kind of like they already have on the side, and just fill up a lobby and go play. Sounds awesome. Now, playing like a best of 3, though, in a regular Premier match, that sounds horrible. Okay?
Well, it depends. I've had some
agree.
where I would love it, and I've had some where I would basically want to quit immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it seems a little too much. Maybe if the games were shorter,
I also think
it wouldn't be as bad.
Stack it, or you'd have to full stack it.
Yeah, but then at that point, you might as well just have the
Custom games.
Yeah,
Premier,
we might as well just have the
Arena.
tournament thing and something like that instead of having to do that in Premiere.
There was the thing that actually inspired me for this is, and I don't know how much you guys played this, but in the CODs back in the day, there was a 2v2 mode called Gunfight, and they started doing gunfight little tournaments, and you basically had like a little bracket, and you could see the matches up happening as you tried to win the little gunfight tournament. And dude, in COD, those 2v2 little gunfight, because those are quick,
Quick game.
they can last 30 seconds. That was such a vibe. I would love to go back and play another night of that at peak time. But the tournament was the thing that really pushed that over the envelope for me.
Yeah.
Having it to where this is going to take an hour, but an hour I'm going to play 5 or 6 matches, and me and Pat can make a run and win. That's sick. I also think Clash style, it's like winning Clash, because League games are an hour. They're not short.
Yeah.
So it's winning Clash, that's a whole afternoon activity. But that's a sick way to spend an afternoon.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think Counter-Strike dudes would be down for the same.
I think the biggest thing that I think about too when it comes to like you were talking about when you queue up with just randoms, if you don't have your a normal 5 stack, I think whenever the higher rank you get, the more roles are being developed. I think that's where things get a little bit weird with CS. If you join in and everybody wants to op, morale is going to be chalked and no one wants to play anymore. But I don't know. I think things get a little bit dicey when it comes to the higher ranked players and trying to actually fully flesh out a team.
Would you feel a certain type of way if Counter-Strike started going to a league type setup to where when you queue as op, flex, entry, lurker?
Personally, I wouldn't have a problem with it, but I know a ton of the player base would have massive problems with it. Because every single game I get in, everybody's just throwing the bomb back and forth. Just, I'm not touching it. Throw it around. I'm not touching it. Throw it around. It's dude, just carry the bomb.
Well, no, but the one guy that does carry it, he just YOLO pushes mid by himself and drops bomb outside of mid doors in Dust 2 for some odd reason in CT.
Yeah, exactly.
Pat wouldn't know anything about that, would you?
I think nah, I have no clue what you're talking about. Because it wasn't me, by the way. I mean, that makes me sound guilty. I just want to make sure that was not me. But anyway, yeah, I think Counter-Strike, unfortunately, while it does have those roles predetermined for the professionals and stuff, I feel like the majority of online Premier players have no idea what any of those roles mean besides opper, a lurker, and the entry. If you even want to call it, you call that a role, entry. That's it. Any other thing, they wouldn't know what they're supposed to do. They'd be like, well,
I do think
what am I here for?
You could pull that off at sub probably 17K, maybe 15K once you get into that league or whatever it's called. From that up, maybe you could do it. But dude, I could imagine that queue set at 3K. It would be just for whatever reason, 80% of the lobby just keeps hitting op.
Yeah,
it's crazy, but it's what it is. Yeah. Davis, what you got for us?
I actually just forgot what mine was. I had it on my mind. Oh, yeah. We actually talked about this already. But I have the Parivision miracle is over. Personally,
happens.
I'm not buying all the burnout and all the excuses, in my opinion, that they have used because they got bounced from this event. I do agree. They've been playing crazy amounts of games. But it's they're used to playing crazy amounts of games. I've been doing this for the last year. They've been trying to climb the VRS ladder. Just because they lost now early in an event doesn't mean
20 years in.
Yeah, just because you lose an event now, at this stage, doesn't mean you get to use the excuse of oh, we're burnt out. It's you've been winning and playing events week in and week out for an entire year trying to gain VRS points to get to this stage. And the teams that they lost to as well, Monty and Heroic, I think that they should just be beating those teams regardless if they're burnt out or not. So in my opinion, I think their miracle run is looking a little grim.
They've been heart rate monitor, though. They won, then didn't make a bracket, and then made the finals, and then now didn't make a bracket. So I guess they win the next one.
Yeah, a little pattern going.
Yeah, I guess they win the next one.
Yeah, I mean, I slightly touched on it a little bit too. Like, yeah, I think those things are excuses. I think they have some validity to them because obviously burnout is a thing that hits all of the teams hard. I mean, Astralis, obviously, that was their like downfall.
Zywoo might
was mental. Yeah, Zywoo had that mentioning that he might step away as well, or was going to step away. But yeah, I mean, Parivision, even with that, the amount of games they play, they're used to it. You shouldn't lose to Monty. I mean, it should not happen. It's not like you're having to go up against Furia, Mouths, and Spirit, and you're having to do a ton of prep and like these top dogs. You're going against another bottom feeder team. I get that can cause some chaos, but like at the level that they've been playing, that should be a team they beat no matter what.
To me, I just think it validates Spirit in the sense of Zwei isn't it, Noda isn't it. I mean, I think they're good players, and I think they're very good role players, but like the thing that helps like a Furia, right? You need Fallen to bail you out. James has never been that his entire career. He makes some electric plays, but he's much more of a tactician. He's never going to do the crazy nonsense to like miraculously pull you from the depths. We've seen Zwei a few times do it, but it's always been like, it's not been in the clutch. It's not been when you needed it. And it's like, it just doesn't feel like this team has one of those players. So if they are all firing on all cylinders and James Time is able to pull off his strategies, I think they're going to be good. But like when you need them in a bad day where everybody's playing bad versus Heroic, you need a JL Legend headshot showing, right? Like you need somebody to pop off and do that. And I just don't think, I think Noda and Zwei are the two guys they want to be that, but I just don't think that I don't think they're that caliber. They might grow into it, but in the current capacity, I just don't think of that.
Another thing I want to say too is like, how do you get burnt out when you're like under 22 years old? You've never been like a solidified tier 1 team. Like that's my thing is like, yeah, Zywoo is getting burnt out. Yeah, he's won like every event possible. He's got the most MVPs of all time. Yeah, Brokey's worn out. He's made multiple grand finals. He's been around for forever. Like all these people are burnt out because they've played and done it so long at the highest level. These guys are brand new. They got burnt out after 4 weeks.
Hey, you can't, there's people today that just a little soft for participation trophies. It is what it is. I hope that's not what this team's about. This might just be James protecting his young.
Which I do think that's what it is.
And that's totally fine. He might just be like, I don't want to say we sucked. Instead of saying we sucked, I'm going to blame it on this other thing. Yeah. Hey guys, by the way, I'm not meaning this negative to y'all, but like, just know I'm about to say this is why we lost.
Yeah. And I think that's what it is personally. I think it's just him protecting the team, which is what you want your IGL to do. But again, I'm not buying that it's burnout.
Yeah. Happens. Pat, why should people join the Discord? I know you want to tell us.
I mean, do you not want to be in a cool spot? Do you not want to have cool individuals to hang out and talk to? I mean, because we love talking about video games. Do you love gambling? We like to talk about gambling, and you can come hedge bets with us, and we'll make a lot of money together. You and me, money, win, cool conversations, gaming. We play everything from Counter-Strike to Hello Kitty Island Adventure, okay? I'm sure somebody in the Discord plays that. I guess we play these other games called Halo 2 and stuff. I don't know, it's kind of whack, but that's why you should join it. We have all the information you need. We're the coolest cats in North America, confirmed here on this video.
We're definitely the coolest Counter-Strike players because we're one of like 12.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm not tooting my own horn at all. It's just facts.
Yeah, happens. Well, thank you guys for watching. It's been another wonderful show. We'll see you after this event, and hopefully Spirit have been crowned the champions. Until then, peace out.